The party is over, and the door has closed. For a few hours there were people, noise, laughter, your name in other people's mouths. And now the quiet rushes back in. And with it, the thing you were keeping at bay all evening. The ache. You were just surrounded by people, and you feel as alone as if none of them had been there at all. Maybe it is not a party. Maybe it is a long relationship where you lie beside someone and feel unreachable. Maybe it is a phone full of contacts, a feed full of faces, a week full of messages. And still, this hollow space that none of it seems to touch. You are not isolated. By every visible measure, you have people. And you are lonely anyway. So here is what I want to show you. Why loneliness has almost nothing to do with how many people are around you. Why adding more people so often fails to touch it. And what actually does. Because it is not what the advice usually says. Start with the thing almost everyone gets wrong. Loneliness is not the absence of people. It is the absence of being met. You already know this, if you look. You have been alone and perfectly content, a quiet evening that felt full. And you have been in the middle of a crowd and felt desolate. Same person, opposite states. And the one thing that changed was not how many people were present. Solitude can be full, a crowd can be empty. What makes the difference is whether you are seen, known, met at the real level by even one other person. Loneliness is the gap between how known you are and how known you long to be. That is why more contact does not close it. You can pour an ocean of people into that gap, and it stays exactly as wide. Because the gap was never about quantity. And before we go further, hear this clearly. Because the lonely mind always whispers that something is wrong with you. There is a very old story at the root of the tradition. In the beginning, it says, there was one being, entirely alone. And the text puts it with startling plainness. Ekaki naramti. Alone, it did not delight. The very first thing that existed, before anything else, was lonely. And out of that loneliness, it longed for a second. And from that longing, the whole world of relationship was born. Sit with that. Loneliness is not your personal defect. It is the oldest feeling there is. It is the ache that creation itself is said to have started with. When you feel it, you are not failing at being a person. You are feeling the very thing, the first being felt, the longing that set everything in motion. You are an old and universal company. So why, with people genuinely available, does the gap stay open? Because being met requires being seen. And being seen feels dangerous. So you do the thing we all do. You show people a version. The edited self, the one designed to be liked, the rough parts sanded off. The struggles tucked away behind, I'm fine. And here is the cruel mechanism at the center of it. The better you perform the likable version, the lonelier you become. Because even when people respond warmly, even when they like you, you know, somewhere, that they are liking the mask. Their warmth falls on the curated self and never reaches the real one underneath. You can be genuinely adored and remain completely unmet. The performance you put on to win connection is the very thing that blocks it. If you saw The Last Dispatch, this is the same mask. There, it kept you anxious, performing for a verdict. Here, it keeps you lonely, loved, at one remove. It is one mask doing both jobs. So the cure for loneliness is not more people. It is being known by even one. And that asks something the volume approach never does. It asks you to risk being seen. One real moment of being met, where you drop the edit and let another person see the actual you. The real feeling, the true struggle, and they stay. That does more for the ache than 1,000 polished interactions. Connection was never the accumulation of contact. It is the risk of being known. A single person who has seen the unedited you and not left changes everything. Because now there is evidence somewhere in the world that the real you is not alone. There is a deeper layer too, which I will only point at. There is a kind of aloneness no other person can fully cure. The bare fact of being a self, looking out from behind your own eyes. The tradition quietly suggests this separateness is not the final truth. That underneath it is a ground you share with everything. And the deepest easing of loneliness comes from discovering you were never as separate as you felt. But that is a longer road. The nearer medicine is simpler, and it is within reach tonight. So, 2 things. The next time the ache comes. First, stop trying to cure a quality problem with quantity. More scrolling, more events, more shallow contact will not touch this. And often, it deepens it. Because every unmet interaction is fresh evidence that you cannot be reached. Notice when you are reaching for more people to fix a problem that was never about numbers. Second, take one small risk of being seen. With one person you actually trust, say one true thing you would normally edit out. Not your whole soul at once, one real sentence. The actual feeling under the "I'm fine," the struggle you usually hide. Being met begins there, one unguarded sentence at a time. It will feel exposing. Your whole system will tell you it is dangerous. That exposure is not the danger. It is the doorway. It is the exact thing the mask has kept you from, your whole life. So the next time the door closes and the quiet rushes back in, do not reach first for more noise. Notice what is actually missing. Not people. You had people tonight. What is missing is the experience of being seen. And that begins the moment you let one person pass the edit. You were never lonely because too few people were near you. You were lonely because the ones who were near had only ever met the version you let them see. The ache is the oldest one there is. The first being felt it before the world began. And it eases, not when the room fills, but when one person finally sees the real you, and you find the courage to let them.